May I ask you to take your seats, please, and we'll get underway. Hey, Terry. Okay, let's go ahead, if we may, please. I don't have a gavel. All right, welcome back from the breakout session. Welcome back from the breakout session, and thank you all for engaging in that. I got a chance to go around to each room just very briefly, and there was intensity, and a lot of people speaking from a database, from the heart, from long experience, from theory, wide range of activities going on in those rooms, talking about vision for their own needs and the needs of their constituency or their group or the groups with which they identify or the identities that they identify with. Others talking about their vision for PNCIMA and what it ought to look like. Wide-ranging, and the subject of what is your vision, what are the values, what are the interests that you have, is a bit like pinning jelly to the wall, and it asks a lot of people, and we knew that when we framed up that list of questions and that page that you were working on from out of your folders. A tremendous number of sticky notes on every room's wall. That's very helpful. All of those are going to be further categorized, boiled down, looked at, will no doubt form part of the sort of fundamental value and vision statement that eventually will emerge in this initiative. Terrific work. And I'm sure the same has happened in Prince Rupert, because I know they had a breakout session there, and I hope that was productive, and we'll no doubt hear the results of that. So, what we are intending to do for the next 30 minutes or so is hear from each of the small group facilitators in the breakout sessions who will try to hit some of the high points of what was coming out in each of those sessions. What they hit is stuff that they regarded as high points. It doesn't mean by any means that anything that they don't talk about wasn't also important. As you know, there was a recorder in each room. The results of what they have done is electronically stored. It's all going to be merged. This is all going to boil down into some very interesting material. But there may be some diversity, there may be some similarity in all those rooms, and we'll hear about that. So what I'd like to do is have each facilitator come up here in turn and just report to you. Well, actually, maybe they'll just stay at their tables. We won't have them walk up here. And the microphones, you just pull them over toward you. You don't have to put your mouth close to them. And we'll let them free-form and describe some of what it is they heard. And then we can follow that with questions and comments from you for probably the better part of 20 minutes or so before we sign off. And if those questions are questions that require answers, or if they're comments that require responses from other than these people, because none of them are content experts, none of us are, there will be content experts around the room who can respond to those comments. Who wants to? Do you want to start? Sure. All right. Thank you.
Can you hear me? No.
Mike, you're up.
Oh, I have to be closer. Okay, great. So I'm Carol Ann Hart, and I was very fortunate to have a really terrific group this afternoon. It was a really well-rounded group with incredible diversity, and I might add very valuable diversity. We had so many different points of view coming out, so I was very, very impressed by it. My only regret was that I had to cut people off sometimes. We only had about 2 minutes per person maximum, and it was a very short time in terms of people really being able to express their views. But I thank my group very much for the input that they did have and all of the information they provided. It was really helpful. And I guess my reflection just on what I heard from the group and all of the interests that were coming forward and the suggestions for making PNCIMA a successful initiative, if all of that knowledge and experience and talent in my room is well utilized, PNCIMA couldn't help but be a tremendous success. So I really encourage people to keep bringing forward that input. It's very beneficial for everyone. And we heard today about the commitment as well to make that happen and to utilize all that information. So take advantage of all those opportunities we have to capture it. As Gord said, we're just talking here about the main themes that we heard from our groups. We can't possibly capture all of the information that was put forward. So if I haven't captured your idea, I apologize. I'll just try to present the main themes that were discussed. In terms of visions for PNCIMA, there were many expressed. One of the common ones that I heard a lot of people speak about was a desire for collaboration, for real collaboration, and for a common vision. And so that's really important in terms of the process. People discussed a desire for a transparent and ethical process, and in turn, that would help with building trust and credibility in the PNCIMA process. Sure. Oh, thanks. All right. And the importance of adhering to commitments that were made is something that a number of people raised, and I believe that's on the part of all parties involved in any successful process. When you commit to something, you abide by it at the end of the day. An inclusive, holistic process is something that a number of people indicated they would like to see, and one that reflects all important interests and values. People talked about measures to be taken that would be effective and proactive, and they also discussed prevention and a desire to minimize risk. In terms of outputs, it's been mentioned earlier in the day, and it was mentioned again in my group, that healthy ecosystems are fundamental to ensuring that we have healthy individuals, healthy communities, and healthy economies. So all of that is interlinked, and that's a goal for output. People are looking for, some people anyway, an ongoing responsive governance model with representation from all important interests. There should be, in PNCIMA, the opportunity and the responsiveness to be able to adapt to all change, including climate change, but not limited to climate change, all change. There should be monitoring, evaluation, and measurable outcomes, and adequate funding in place for the process to continue. And there was also discussion about the desire to recognize and empower communities. So that is my quick take on the important themes coming out of my group. And thank you very much, everybody in Minarusi.
Great. Thanks, Carolyn. And it may be that other groups will have come to some of the same conclusions, both as to visions and outputs, but it's fine to repeat them. So